The theme is loneliness. I remember years ago at 1848 East 1st Street, people would hang out there all night long until like locked up, and they'd be working on the computers and playing video games and stuff. There was one guy left there named Louis, and older guy just got out of prison. And I'm in my office working, and they say, "Hey Louis, what are you doing on the computer?" "Just right here, playing solitary." Dog, I think you've been locked up too long. It's called solitaire. But we all know what it's like to be solitary. Everybody knows what solitude is. Solitude is a good thing, where you're kind of alone with yourself, and maybe you're sitting at the beach looking at the ocean. You're all by yourself, and you can feel the stillness, and you like the stillness. Maybe it connects you with your own awakened heart, and then you discover once again that the center and ground of your being is God. But that's good. That's solitude. That's being alone and you feel comfortable with it. Loneliness is a different thing. That's kind of part of the human condition, that you feel this way. Occasionally you'll feel it in a way that's more alarming than other times, where you feel left out. You feel excluded. You feel isolated. You feel dissed and disparaged. You feel like you aren't connected to other human beings. And as always would say, it's an ugly feeling. The great Buddhist Thich Nhat Hanh has a poem on anger. And in it he has one line, and I always use it as sort of a mantra. And the line says, "Keep your loneliness warm," which is a way of saying don't run from it, don't flee, don't lock it in a drawer, don't deny it. Keep it warm, which is to say throw a blanket on it and cuddle it and be curious about it and see it as a gift. Keep it close. Because if it's close, then you can connect to people. You can receive people in their vulnerability, because you're kind of vulnerable right now. I'm feeling a little lonely. And you can connect to people and be a person who pays attention in a way that's exquisite. And you can be compassionate because you're keeping your loneliness warm. Some of you heard the story years and years ago when Vice President Al Gore came to visit. The Secret Service came, and there was a select group of people who were going to be a part of a roundtable discussion with them, all homies who worked here. And I had to do a list, social security numbers, birth dates, and then the Secret Service guy came back, and they say what all Secret Service guys say about this place. These people have records, like this news might come as a surprise to me. And I said, well, at Homeboy Industries, it's sort of the idea, Anyway, so we got to go back and look at this list again. So there was one guy who they said no to, a guy named Caesar, a guy who was working at Homeboy at the time, wonderful guy, gentle, kind soul, grew up in the projects. I wouldn't want to say that Homeboy transformed his life, but he found transformation at Homeboy, which is a different kind of thing. And so what he did was he became a husband and a father and a working man. He loved his kids more than he hated his enemies. A gentle soul. So the Secret Service guy said, we don't want this guy a part of this thing, this Caesar guy. And apparently Secret Service can find things that employers can't even find as they go over your records and your life. And though he was never charged for this, he got in a scuffle with a housing authority police officer in the projects. They fought or something. Never charged with any crime. But the fact that the scuffle was with a police officer, this was too much for the Secret Service guy. This guy can't be a part of this. I said, well, do you think he poses a danger to the life of the vice president? Go, no, of course not. We got sharpshooters on the roof. We've got metal detectors. We got him covered. Don't worry about that. Well, then if you don't feel he poses a threat to the vice president, why would you say no? Oh, simple. Because I just don't want somebody to take a picture of the vice president of the United States with this scumbag. So I called the White House, tried to argue my case. They said they'd get back to me, and they finally did, and said, nope, Secret Service wins. So then I had to call Caesar, and he was characteristically gentle and kind. He said, oh, gee, don't worry about it. Don't trip. I kind of thought I wouldn't be allowed to go. Then he moved to this whole other place where it was about me. He said, the last thing in the world I would want is for you to feel bad because I'm not going to be included in this thing. Clearly it was a moment of loneliness, which is to say rejection, excluded, not part of something, the only one denied participation in this event. Clearly it was a moment of loneliness, but that's the sound of a human being who keeps their loneliness warm. They throw a blanket around it, they're curious about it. They see it as a gift, not a thing to flee. And because he did, he could flip the script. He could look at me and be kind and gentle towards the other because he had kept this loneliness warm. He saw it as a gift. Go figure. In the course of the day, to one degree or another, we're all going to feel a little pain and the sting of loneliness. Maybe we're excluded, maybe we're estranged from somebody, maybe we're left out, maybe we wish we had been invited to that and we weren't. Maybe we feel like we're alone in the world, not just in solitude.